Good morning from Australia. Today we are making croquembouche. Croquembouche is a traditional French wedding cake and it's made with choux pastry. And the reason why it's called croquembouche is because that literally means crackling or cracking in the mouth. And butter. Right, so we'll bring the water and the sugar and the butter to the boil. Okay, this is boiling really well. So we'll add the flour all in one go and stir it in. Now it is very, very important that we stir this flour in really well. This is called the roux, and the roux has to be really well cooked if you want to get a nice result. If you stir it well, it won't burn, but it needs to be well cooked so that the protein in the flour, or what some people call the gluten, is well developed and gelatinized. See? Now you can see it's starting to come together like a dough. Yeah? Okay, I think that will do. So, and just mix that for a little while. It's quite important that this cools down a little bit before you put the eggs in. Alright, well this is cooled down enough now, so I will now add the eggs. One by one, very slowly. Because if you put too many at one time, you'll get lumps that will never come out. So slowly, one egg. You can actually see when it's time to put the next egg in, when it's smooth again. You can see that. See if I put in, let's say I put in two, you can see now it's not quite cohesive, it's not quite a dough. So you have to wait till it is all smooth again, and then we'll put the next egg. From time to time, you have to scrape it all down on the side, go under it, because some of the thicker things, thicker paste, sticks to the edge, and that will give you lumps again. Right, well, I'm just finishing this now by hand, and as you can see, I've still got 2 eggs to go, but experience tells me that there's actually enough eggs in here. When it flops off the spoon like this, it's actually thick enough. So in this case, we've got 2 eggs left over. That's good, that's profit. I'll transfer some of that into a piping bag. All you have to do is pipe some little dots. Make them nice and full and then just take it off from the sides like that. Look, can't really see it, eh? Rather than doing this, right? It's a round and just take it off. You have to leave quite a bit of space between them because they're going to expand. Croquembouche. I'm going to make some choux pastry swans, and I'm just piping the necks for them now here. On a piece of baking paper. Put a bit of that in there. The bodies for the swan, I piped a little bit elongated. Right. So now I have piped all the choux pastry for the croquembouche. Next for the swans, it should be ready for baking. You may also see that they're not quite regular. Some are a bit bigger than others. That's because we have big and small people eating them. No. That's because as you build the pyramid, it's better to have the little ones on top. Gives you a nicer shape. We shut the oven door. You shouldn't open the door, for if they're only half baked, what will happen? They'll collapse. Right, well, they have actually been in there for half an hour. And it's time to take them out now. Yeah. So they're all baked. Now the next thing we'll have to do is make a little hole. That's where the cream will go. Just big enough to put the nozzle in. Okay, so we now make the caramel, the croquant bit. I've got 600 grams of sugar in here and about a quarter as much water. Doesn't have to be exact. We'll bring that to the boil and we'll boil it until it turns into caramel. Probably take about 5 to 10 minutes. And you'll see we'll judge it by the color. It's a visual thing. Whilst this is boiling away, I'm going to whip the cream for the filling. Now there are a lot of different fillings and a lot of people use crème pâtissier or custard with different flavoring. I am just going to make the very traditional one that is just whipped cream for the filling. Again, some people like to put vanilla flavoring into it. I don't. It's just a personal thing. I think dairy cream has such a beautiful flavor of its own that it doesn't need anything added, except some sugar to bring the flavor out. And I use 10%. In other words, for a liter of cream, I use about 100 grams of sugar. And I use caster sugar, very fine sugar. The cream needs to be well whipped, but not over whipped. At about this stage, I'll add the caster sugar. Another 2 minutes and we'll have butter. Don't want it. Meanwhile, the sugar is boiling away nicely. This will take another 2 or 3 minutes before it changes color. Now, I'm going to fill these choux pastries, the choux, with the cream. But I'm not going to do it now and then dip it into the hot caramel. That wouldn't be clever, because the heat, the intense heat, would melt the cream and most of it would run out. So I'm going to coat them in caramel first, and then fill them, and then stick them up into the traditional croquembouche shape. Well, you can see now that it's starting to change its color. I could take it now, but I'd rather give it another half minute, because if it's darker, there is more flavor. However, you've got to be very, very careful, because this is so terribly hot now that even though when I turn the flame off, it will continue to cook, get browner. It's tremendously hot. So what I'm going to do, I don't want it to get too brown. What I'm going to do, I'll just plunge that into cold water for a sec. Not too long, just to take the worst of the heat away. Tip those balls into there. Do not let that syrup get under your fingers. It is still tremendously hot. And by the way, if you get some of this on your fingers, some of this caramel, what you need to do straight away is like this. Don't do this, because you're going to burn your lips as well. And I've done that when I was an apprentice, so I've learned very quickly. Alright, so the leftover sugar, caramel here, I'm just going to put on a very, very small flame to keep it warm till I use it again, till I use it for sticking the croquembouche together. Alice and Belle, my helpers, have arrived.
Hello.
This birthday cake is for Emma, and you know what? Look at this plate. That was actually painted by my auntie. She was a porcelain painter. Isn't it beautiful? So they're now going to put this together, and the first layer I'll probably do all by myself. And then I'll need somebody to help me with holding the pieces in place. Stick it together with the leftover caramel. This one I have to do on both sides. Alright, so we've got the first layers. Now we're going up just like bricklayers. Who's going to help me?
I will.
Okay. I'm going to put this here, and you just hold it there, but hold it on top where there's no hot sugar. The next one I'll put here, okay? The last one, so that's it. Okay, what I'm doing now is make some decorations for around the croquembouche. And since this is a birthday cake, I'll put a little heart there. Happy birthday.